I've been asked many times, well, gosh, there's still billboards standing. Let me just say this. There have been approximately 900,000 billboards removed, and there would not have been one. At least there would not have been one paid for if it wasn't for me. And I know that's true. I've been told that's true by key people in the press who are involved with what was happening. I've been told that's true within the Department of Transportation. I've been told that was true by John A. Volpe, Joe Bosco, and others involved in this. I was told that was true by the House of Representatives, the Subcommittee on Roads, and and in the Senate. So I know I'm not exaggerating, including Senator Moss told me that was true. Now, the question again is, well, gosh, how come there's still billboards standing? Well, that again is a decision that I made and that I impressed upon Secretary Volpe and the staff, and to work with the House committee on a subcommittee on roads. And here's the situation. I maintain this, that the highway beautification program was to beautify highways. Within the city, city limits, they have the right to zone. If you can zone a place for a hot dog stand, and you permit a hot dog stand or a hamburger place or whatever it might be, an antique shop, name it, to be there, and say, but you can't have a billboard there? That decision is up to the city fathers within their rights when that's what is zoned and that constitutes the city limits. What constitutes the city? Where is the geography? Where's the pale or boundary of that city? Within that, they can make the zoning, and they have to answer to the public population. If the public wants them out of there, and it's quite obvious, they'll do it. But it's been my experience, what they do is limit. In most cases, they limit where billboards are permitted within the city. Now, Utah, it's a little bit different. In Salt Lake, there's one sign company. Guy says, I'll cost me $5,000 a person. Just go give them enough $5,000 around, and I can get anything I want. And these are exact words to me. And so we have that going on, and that's just kind of the reality. But this decision of permitting the cities to zone transcends the original bill. The original bill was this: if there's any money that went into the road, the street, the highway that goes through a city, that the federal government, by putting federal funds in there, has the right to say whether or not there'll be billboards. So they have a position. We put money to get that street or that road in there, like State Street. They finance State Street through Salt Lake City. What runs 18 miles, something like that. It's the longest street in the world. It's State Street in Salt Lake City. And it goes through more than one city nowadays. In the old days, it wasn't. You got South Salt Lake City, and it goes on and on Murray, and et cetera, and Midvale, and Sandy, and Draper, and so on. Now, we had a meeting in Washington, D.C., and I've referenced this before. And in that meeting, and I want you to understand this, that Volpe had decided that he ought to at least talk to the people of Minnesota mining and manufacturing. They own more billboards than anybody else in the United States. Big. And they have the money behind them. Two full-time lobbyists are paid a lot of money. I had to deal and run up against them several times. I haven't gone through everything, but we had this meeting. And in that meeting were these two against one. And then there was me. But I decided and asked Kay Danes, who I've referenced before, who was an attorney. He works for J.C. Penney Company at the time. And he didn't like to go outside the pale of J.C. Penney Company, but I had befriended him, and he liked me, and I liked him, and he helped me immensely, and I'd have failed without him. I can give a lot of credit to a lot of people where I'd have failed without them. But he is one. Jack Francis transcends them all. I mean, where'd I be without him? But, and there was Joe Bosco. So there's 5 of us. 2 and 2, and Joe Bosco, the referee. We're in the meeting, in a room, just outside of where, on the same floor, with where the Secretary of Transportation has his office. And that is really a big office. I was stunned when I walked in there the first time. I just couldn't get over how big it was. Now, so the question was, how can we bring Snarr together with Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing? Little Doug Snarr, brother, with my little few signs, compared to them and this huge company behind them, and all their influence, which is monumental, and on we go. And it's headquartered, I think, in St. Paul, Minnesota. What happened was, we get in this meeting, and the question is asked, are you prepared to take any billboards down at all you own? Is there some way we can compromise on this? And it came down to no. No. That's simple. And old Bosco said, that's all I need to know. I'm with Snarr. That's it. He didn't say that, but that's what he told me afterwards. That was an easy one. That meeting went on and on and on, back and forth. They accused me of everything under the sun, and I'm just a little guy up against these guys. This is their business. But they were inflexible and exceedingly greedy, and they weren't going to give an inch. They were all nice and smiley and everything else, but when it came to me, I was like a devil to them, frankly. So I know that feeling, and of being accused wrongly, but I would go broke if I failed. And I was determined I was not going to fail. As I told Sullivan, the House Public Works Committee's legal counsel, asking me to go back to Salt Lake City, because if I stay in Washington, D.C., I will become a broken man. It will destroy my spirit because I was going to lose. The billboard issue is over with. And I said to him, I will only leave Washington, D.C. on 2 conditions. Either you guys do what you passed in this Congress to do, which has affected my business dramatically and destroyed me, or I'll go back in a pine box. One of the two. And in the end, it prevailed. And I think that's about the long and the short of it. And I think about it. To this day, I can't believe it even happened. I can hardly believe that I prevailed. When I think what I had going for me, which had started off being just me. Just me. Then I added, and I go back to these lines of Emerson. 47 lines in his great poem, Each and All. All are needed by each one. Had all these people help me. Nothing is fair or good alone. I can't do it on my own. I yielded myself to the perfect whole. And I did. And there are many perfect wholes. The big one, little ones within little ones, right on down. But that perfect whole to me is the truth within me. And I got to be honest to that and make good my signature that I gave to the bank when I borrowed up to, in today's money, about $12 million, maybe 15. And I paid it all off.